UKLC is presented by Barclays and Curry's PC World.
Hello and welcome back to the UKLC. We're getting ready to go into game number 3 between Munster and London. This is the big one. These are two teams who have been fighting for the spot at the top for a very, very long time. London have kind of slipped a little bit though. So for Munster, this is a good chance to actually put some distance between the front runners in the UKLC and the middle of the pack.
Yeah, and Munster now on a 4-win streak and looking like a really whole and complete team. I think everyone has shown strength. I put emphasis on Jeppe, I put emphasis on Diva. DVL's been really stepping up recently, and Blue Spirits are known him also solid. So I think very well spread team. Whereas my issue with London is it feels like they live or die by Warden. If the game goes well for him, it does for the team. If it goes badly, they do kind of flop.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting one as far as the other lanes go, because I think DBL has been an incredible top laner. I've really, really been sold on him, but then he's also going up versus Bear Tree, a pretty stacked top laner in his own right. Diva versus Chimera. This is, back to kind of early seasons of the UKLC mid lane matchup here. So there's a lot of big names. I feel like the kind of top 3 champions you look at, or the top 3 players on both teams as far as like top, jungle, and mid, every one of these players really jumps off the page to me. Yeah,
and I think it's something I've said throughout the split. Is on paper. I've said it so much I might as well be Michael Scott, because I keep saying on paper, London are this super stacked roster, and people over time have started to think, we had some interviewers where they're like, not so sure about that, but coming into the split, we definitely felt that way, but they just haven't delivered to that standard consistently. And that's not to say they haven't delivered to it, because they have. It's just been not enough to comfortably say this is our top team in the league, which is what we expected coming in. And I think with Munster, we obviously had more reserved expectations because obviously some rookie players showing their first performance in the UKLC, but they've just delivered. And I think the great thing is that they have delivered as a team. It's not one person shining, they all are.
And, when we had a little chat with Rabster just before the break, we actually had him say the Golden God was probably the person. I mean, he was kind of saying he was the best AD carry, but he couldn't place whether or not Golden God was better, and he said he had a pretty easy lane versus him. I don't know, it's gonna be hard to see, but guys, we are going to cut to a quick break, and when we're back, we'll be back with the picks and bans and the game between Munster and London, so don't go anywhere. See you in a second. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC. We're getting ready to go into game number 3. It's going to be Munster taking on London. We are into picks and bans, and the Callista is the first one to go.
And taking that one away quickly, a lot of early pressure afforded by that champion. We have seen teams heavily target Warden in the bans. We saw that yesterday, and it did end up working pretty effectively. So far, not seen that yet from Munster, but it could end up panning out that way.
Alrighty, well, what do they want to take away now? It's slower than the last game where they were kind of rattling through the bans and then the game at a slow pace. This time thinking about everything, that is going to be the Graves taken away. We know Warden plays that quite a lot. No Name, when I think of No Name, I was thinking like things of the Lee Sin. His Lee Sin yesterday was incredible. So maybe that's something London do need to keep in mind. Obviously, you said it, and I think a lot of people kind of don't really think the Lee Sin's the most meta jungler, but for No Name, it is a comfort pick. But for now, we're going to see the Senna taken away, the Syndra taken away, and last of all, the Azir.
Yeah, I think if you have enough proficiency to make the Lee Sin work, it is great. And obviously, we see it frequently in the top tier leagues. But I think if you don't execute, it does fall off pretty quickly. Now, Azir being off the tables, I mean, we're just seeing the set first pick, something that hasn't really been banned heavily, but heavily prioritized on that first rotation. And a big aspect is that flexibility can go jungle or top. We could see London answer with the Volley Bears, something else that can flex between those two roles. And we did see Bear Tree play it yesterday. And it kind of means if Munster throw more bans towards the jungle, they can just put the Volley Bear down there as an option.
Yeah, you could take Volley Bear just first choice of AD carry if you'd like. The Ezreal's still open, so they are going to get that for Golden God. We'll have to see if they want to go for that Volley Bear or get him a comfortable kind of support in the bot lane for him. But it feels like they can be quite comfortable just not to pick a support here. Get himself either a jungler or a top lane.
Yeah, I much prefer the third pick on the support. You take AD carry here, and then you see what the enemy team has, and then you decide then, and then you ban away difficult matchups. I think that's my ideal situation. So usually here, I'd expect like Ezreal and then something else. But I think the exception, as I'm saying, that is the Thresh. Thresh is so strong, so high prioritized, tons of good matchups. I think he's the one you can afford to pick up there, because it's not really a situation where he's going to be bad in necessarily. They could go for something like a Phelios Tom Kench, though, here. I think that'd be a really nice pickup for Munster. But ultimately, my one criticism is it does mean that Jepe's not really on a playmaker, which is something I love to see him on. So we'll have to see. They will take the Aphelios. Could see something more like the Nautilus here. But if we're talking in what I think is purely optimal, I think the Tom's really good in this situation because it means the Aphelios goes unchecked. But I expect more for Nautilus pick from Jepe if they're going to prioritize his champion here.
Yeah. Looks like you were right on that. The Nautilus is going to be the pickup. Offers you a lot of CC and team fighting tools. Obviously does mean that Blue Spirits is more liable to a hook and potentially getting caught out, but just have to see how he kind of handles that in the laning phase. Now it's over to London. They're probably going to pick up something flexible between top and jungle. That Volley Bear has been left open, but also they could just blind pick a comfortable mid for Chimera. Orianna did slip through. We haven't actually seen it yet today. We know this is a champion Chimera likes to play. That and the LeBlanc, but
it ties in well with the Azir ban on top of that. And you can potentially threaten some of these other scaling mid laners like the Corki, although I feel like Orianna can have priority in that matchup early. But if you're concerned about the package usage, you definitely can look to eliminate that as a threat and just look to hammer away at the mid lane pool. I think Munster, I could understand them potentially going for maybe a Wukong ban and the Volley Bear ban, just as champions that can be picked up to be a threat on the back line. Looks like we're not starting with a scaling mid. We're actually just going for the LeBlanc here away from D.Va. So again, something that can provide threat. And it's actually going to be the Renekton instead of either of those two picks that I mentioned before, but in the same vicinity, looking towards those top laners that potentially Bear Tree could offer up.
I see what this next mid ban is going to be. As we expect it to be the mid ban, with the Azir taken away, it does feel like the Corki is probably the next ban, but also Zoe, another champion. When I think of D.Va, actually, I do remember his Zoe, especially last year, was devastating. I remember he was quite a good LeBlanc player, so kind of just taking him off some comfort. Does mean, though, that Corki has been left open, so that is the potential here now for the side of Munster. Now, looking probably towards another kind of top laner. Could be that Volley Bear. Bear Tree also is that Aatrox player as well, but for now, they're just going to deny Warden the Rek'Sai.
I really like Volley Bear as a pick here for London if they take on this rotation. A lot of dive threat, a lot of pressure. Great ball delivery, and it's a flex between jungle top, so it essentially enables you to still have counter pick on whichever lane you want. So I think for me, Volley Bear is definitely the pick in this situation, but we'll have to see if they feel similarly. Looks like instead they're leaning towards just a blind gangplank, which obviously the cannon barrage is a massive factor in these situations. put down a lot of hit.
I mean, it gives you great team fighting, the shockwave, the cannon barrage, the true shot barrage. You have a lot of AoE you can lay it down. And if Munster find themselves in these kind of tight corridors in the jungle, London can capitalize and punish on that. But now Diva going to take himself the Twisted Fate. This obviously unlocks some roaming potential for Munster now. Able to kind of use the Destiny, get into the bot lane, and look to set up, Blue Spirits to kind of scale up on this Aphelios. And now we're going to see whether or not that set's going jungle or top lane. There's no name. I hit on him being a big Lee Sin player. It looks like it probably will just be the Lee Sin for him locked in here. Gives them some early kind of aggression they can put together with this team.
Yeah, not really too surprised in this situation. I think you've kind of eliminated the picks that really target mid lane specifically, and Diva goes towards something that targets the side lanes. Not too much of a surprise that he wants to make an impact himself. And paired up with the Lee Sin, that is actually pretty threatening for the Orianna. You land a stun card, you follow up with the Sonic Wave, and as you said earlier, it's comfort for No Name. Now, we'll have to see what they're going to pick for Warden here, and actually they're going to go for the Shyvana in this situation. Seen a little bit of that in the AP role, obviously a huge amount of scaling, and if you are trying to sort of get some backline damage on the Blue Spirits, you have so much threat with the Cannon Barrage and the poke from the Shyvana, which I'm going to assume is going to be the AP variant, but we'll have to see when we load into game.
Will it be Wizard Shyvana? Will it be the tanky on-hit Shyvana? Most likely going to be that. Seeing Chimera running the cleanse on the Orianna, obviously worried about the kind of setup for that kind of early flash gold card into the Lee Sin. Can punish you and put you behind, but does mean when at the teleports, you won't be able to match Diva on these rotations around the map. Obviously, with the fact that you got the Cannon Barrage, Beartree technically doesn't have to leave lane to kind of offer support post level 6 in the bot side or wherever the Twisted Fate decides to go for a gank. Now, let's talk a little bit about this bot side, the Aphelios Nautilus versus the Ezreal Fresh. What are we making this? Obviously, you're kind of saying that you feel like Blue Spirits is kind of the linchpin for Munster. Golden God also is a player who's, you know, like Rabstar was saying in the interview, typically a player who gets played around for London and is, you know, one of the guys who Rabstar had to have a little bit of a think about when he was thinking about who are the top 80 carries in the league.
Yeah, well, I think in this situation, he is going to be a pretty relevant part of the composition, both 80 carries. I think obviously bot lane's a really important role. But I think something to highlight is the fact that we have, you know, the Thresh Ezreal quite safe, able to play defensive against the Aphelios Nautilus. The Orianna going the cleanse again is just looking not to be pressured. And the Gangplank Shyvana are typical picks that look to scale up well and be relevant. I feel like very much so London is just sort of opted out of this early game contention. Now, there is a place for them in these skirmishes when it comes towards the more mid game, but this is basically saying to Munster they don't feel like they can establish enough of a lead, because if Twisted Fate and Lee Sin take over, they'll be able to get the Aphelios ahead, and if he's ahead of the curve on the Ezreal never really catches up. And on top of that, if they get the set ahead, he can just challenge Gangplank in the side lane. So I think there's a very clear distinction between these two teams. And I think this is sort of London taking a step back and being like, okay, Munster, show us what you got. I prefer Munster just because of the fact that they have the agency in this game and they've shown they can deliver quite well in this. And I expect to see them capitalize. I expect to see Twisted Fate looking to put the pressure down on the map. I expect to see early pressure in the Orianna, translate that into trying to look bot lane, free up Jeppe to pressure more members, and just continue with that flow of gameplay. Whereas with London, it's going to be more defensive. It's going to be more, okay, we're going to farm up and hit our spikes. And I'm not a bigger fan of that, but they have given themselves tools to do so. This Shyvana is really good at mid-game plays because you can ult and just clear waves with a Flame Breath, even if she's not opting into the fight. Same with the Cannon Barrage. Orianna has good clear and a good defensive pick. So I think London have done it. If that's what they want to do, they've done the right thing with their picks. It's just I prefer rooting for the team who have the agency.
For me, it's very much, I like what London's draft is here. And there's a very clear kind of like path for what they want to do in this game. But if we take a step back and we kind of look at the consistency of the teams, Munster have proven to be more consistent. You know, yesterday they put an insane game on as well. So for me, it does feel like Munster kind of have the edge just on the kind of like if you go off current kind of plays and current games for them. Munster currently have 4 wins back to back, only dropping 2 games. They dropped their first game of the tournament versus London, and
this is the revenge
that
match.
Was same matchup actually. Completely out of brain fart there. So this is gonna be you know, a bit of revenge potentially for Munster in this game versus London. And for London, you know, it's them trying to kind of claim their spot back at the top, because coming into this, everybody predicted London to be one of the top teams, and they just kind of fell a little bit short in the first round robin, got themselves locked out of that big kind of tie up of groups at the teams at the top, and they're currently sitting at 5th in the standings. Now they are technically tied with Envision on that, so it's a little hard to call where everybody is, because we actually don't have a clear 1st all the way through to 8th, because so many teams are tied. And
I mean, yeah,
you know,
it's only one win apart. I think that's the thing, is it's only one win apart. We have to highlight, if London win this, they catch up with Munster and they tie them. But I think ultimately the big thing here is the mental edge, right? London have beaten Munster. They beat them again here, then go into playoffs. It gives this sort of worrying trend to Munster that, yeah, sure, we beat the rest of the teams, but we couldn't handle London. And London are what everyone looks at. We saw even, there was an earlier conversation when we had in the interview where I was talking about, oh, we expect London to be making it towards the end, Officer Naughty was saying. And I just feel like we could very much see that happening as they ramp up over the season. So a loss here for Munster could be something that really shakes them up. So all comes down to this game. I was hyping up. I think it's going to be a good one.
I think this is going to be a really, really good game. I mean, these are two of the teams these are the two teams who everybody predicted to be our number 1 and 2. London have not hit that mark. Munster have, but there are a lot of teams also contesting them on that. Now, we're going to take to the Summer's Rift for our 3rd game of the day. It's London versus Munster. London already setting up a little bit of an invade.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
DPL just has to not face check this. I think it's pretty difficult for them actually to kill him if they just walk out the brush. There's a lot of distance to close. And ultimately, it's going to go for the reset. But I feel, just branching off what you said, I definitely feel like London are the team everyone expected to be at the top. But I think for Munster, they kind of just flew under the radar a bit. I think there was... It's the rookie factor. It's similar to Mad Lions in the LEC, where, you know, people can say, yeah, we think this player was good. He was really good in this league or really good in that league. But until they show up in this league itself, it's hard to call it. A lot of players debut, and we didn't know what No Name would be like. We didn't know what DBL would be like. And at first, a little bit wibbly wobbly. But they found their footing and they looked really convincing and still do. So I think it's a pretty positive omen for the rest of the split. But this is a big test for them.
Well, the invade actually coming through here for Munster. No Name going to be able to steal away this red buff. Battery places the ward down so they'll have the information to work with. No Name actually just going to do a bit of a clear out of Warden's jungle. There is another ward who will also catch him out, so they'll have the information to work with on this.
I like to see it, though. You're against an AP Shyvana. There's no way an AP Shyvana fights you at level 1. Like, at all. So I like to see they're looking to punish that and have the early congestion. Now, Jeffrey and Blue Spirit's already putting down the hit at the level 1, which is a good window to do so. Ezreal and Thresh kind of limited, where they don't have their 2 core abilities. And yeah, No Name just going straight across to grab his own red buff, taking a bit of harass from Chimera, but ultimately he doesn't really mind.
If you've got early shove, obviously with the power of that red card, you can just AoE the waves down. Obviously having blue as well means he can keep himself topped up in the mana, but for the moment, even more focused on just shoving Chimera in early on this Twisted Fate.
I mean, he is putting everything into it. He's just burning through his corruption potion stacks just to keep maintaining the pressure as much as possible. And, you know, Oriana's shove isn't bad. This is very much he is putting in maximum effort to try and keep him trapped in lane. And he can, because he has TP, so he can go for that. But you can even see he's missing out on CS because he's so focused on just shoving the lane. He's actually a little bit behind Chimera. And that's because he wants to be there to be able to assist in plays like what's happening right now on the top side of the map is Lee Sin is looking to pressure the Shyvana out. And will get forced away. Not quite sure. I think based on this CS, he did manage to pick up something there. But he's taken 3 buffs off the map. He hasn't done anything else. But he's now going to move to the Scuttle Crab. He has priority on bot side. So he should be able to secure both of these and deny them from the Shyvana.
Yeah, Warden looking to take the chickens for himself. There's just no way Chimera can contest anything here. No Name easily able to move through and get himself the second crab. London already having a pretty rough start to this game. Every lane is hard shoving, and this is just completely unlocked No Name to move around the map and just deny Shyvana as much as possible. And yeah, if you look at the numbers, he's down in CS. Mark, to talk about that in a second, because Bear Tree almost caught out the Haymaker. Dodged away on the true damage, but that was dangerous. But here you go. This is it. Shyvana just being heavily focused out. Losing out on so much. No Name just denying every little bit he can. And sure, Warden is up in CS, or even in CS, but all of his camps are dead. No Name has all his camps up, so he can just go clear out his jungle whenever he wants. And that's just going to really continue to put Warden behind.
And that's the main focus here. It's delaying the Shyvana, challenging her when she's weak. And you have the pressure to do so, because essentially all 3 lanes are pushed in. You have so much freedom here. And I expect to see No Name now pattern towards the bot side. That dragon coming up, you want to secure that early. Keep priority on the neutral objectives. And that's how you keep the momentum going in this game.
5 minutes on the clock, and Munster continue to kind of shove in every lane. Blue Spirits and Jeppe just have so much prio bot side. As you'll obviously, doesn't have typically the best wave clear, especially early. Well, an Infernum Ephelios is going to be constantly shoving. Munster will be able to get this first Mountain Drake for themselves nice and early. These are one of these conditions you can play around, especially when you have a jungler like Lee Sin, somebody who does kind of fall off versus the likes of the Shyvana. If you can get yourself the soul early, that always opens up a win condition. With it being an Infernal Dragon that's just spawned up, we're either looking at a Cloud or Ocean Soul.
Yeah, so it's either amazing or pretty subpar. I think in particular, D.Va gets a pretty nice benefit from the Cloud Soul. The others is a bit more situational. I mean, I wouldn't complain.
Does Warden's bar fill up faster with Cloud Soul? Is that how that works? I can't remember how it affects Shyvana.
Yeah, they changed that because initially it didn't, and they changed it so it does work that way. Also, something to note is that dragons do give the extra resistances to Shyvana, so
true.
Actually pretty high value in that regard.
Uh-oh, D.Va caught out by the shockwave, dodges away on the hook, has to get the flash off the flay back, and D.Va running away. Warden flashes forward, and D.Va is out of there. 3 members in the mid lane. D.Va played that just fantastically well, and maybe a bit of a whoopsie from Raisins on the hook.
Yeah, a little bit off there, ultimately. They got the flash. You should have been happy with that. Raisins burns both sums, trying to follow, but realistically, Shyvana can't do anything there. D.Va just TPs back in, so he's fine. Yes, you got the flash, but you traded for your Thresh's flash, and he's definitely a vulnerability in the bot lane. So I think a little bit messy from London there. Just weren't synced up with the shockwave and the hook to follow up. But I like the thought process. I like the attempt. I like that they're finding windows, despite being the scaling side, to challenge the other team.
Infernum Gravitum can make some insanely nice wave clear.
Yeah.
Very satisfying.
You see No Name and D.Va looking to set up on Bear Tree here. They got the orange there, I believe, so...
Yep.
That's what they're waiting for. They can definitely look to capitalize on this. They can die pretty easily with the stun card ringing true. Looks like Bear Tree's going to play really safe.
He smells something to miss. Warden level 5, so it doesn't actually have the ultimate. Does level up there. Blue Spirits has to be careful. Gets flayed back. Has the flash available to him. Got the guns to kind of get the wombo off, but already forced the flash away. Puts down the turret as Golden God secures first blood. Chimera now coming to try and slide in and save the day. As this shockwave available, Blue Spirits running to the wind as Chimera flashes forward. Shockwave for the kill. And London find 2 kills in the bot side.
Really nice capitalization, and ultimately Blue Spirits and Jeppe, no way you should be pushed that far up when you know No Name and D.Va have lent topside. They are so far away from you, and London coming with a really nice response. Shyvana hitting 6 on the wave, able to jump in. They get both kills and both flashes. And Warden's going to be able to steal a bit of No Name's jungle away, so really positive to see.
That was a good punish there. As, Munster were setting up on the other side of the map, and Bear Tree just played it safe. Got the recall off him. Munster are going to get some free time on this tower. Try and get some additional plates into D.Va. want to get that rower on him as quick as possible. Start stacking it up. As Mare has to be a little careful. Has got Warden at his back. Riftdale gets summoned, and don't think that's enough for first turret blood yet, but it's going to get it low. If an early mid turret goes down, that really, really unlocks D.Va to roam.
Absolutely does. And that's why it's often the priority, because taking down that mid lane tower allows you to push the wave deeper, allows you to expand that control outwards and threaten the side lanes. So, pretty powerful effect, and why it's often prioritized. See, D.Va caught out here.
Yeah, has got the shield in from No Name. No Name has the kick available. Cleanse was used there as Warden actually goes to the Dragon's Descent. Misses out on the Dragon's Breath, however. The D.Va is able to survive, and now Jeppe and Blue Spirits, they got the Death Gun combo. This could be really nasty. The flays onto Warden. Warden
Great
gets
hook.
hooked before he can get the blast going away, and Blue Spirit secures the kill. It should just be this next dragon picked up for the side of Munster. That's the second one in their pocket, Infernal, and that Mountain.
Well, still 30 seconds.
Actually, it's 33
Go for that
seconds,
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
Getting
but
ahead of myself.
does set up control of the area, which is the important thing. Means that you have the vision control, you have the skull, you can see 2 pink wards down in the river as well, and it allows Blue Spirits and Jeppe to push this wave in. Might be a little bit late to go for a reset right now, so they're just going to rotate through and make sure the vision is cleared out. Pings coming in, you can see both sides looking to prioritize this one. And critically, Battery doesn't quite have his ultimate available, and also doesn't have TP, so this is very risky for London to go for. Especially if Munster instantly start. If they have timers on that, they should. Unfortunately, it's a little bit trickier to time the cannon barrage, just thanks to cooldown reduction and stuff. But they should know that Battery is TP-less.
Well, setup's there. The wards are down. Looks like No Name's just going to go for the kick. They will be spotted on vision here. Warden pretty close to going in for that Dragon's Descent. Golden God actually kind of just gets blast coned in and hooked up instantly. Follow hook does land though onto Blue Spirits as already they've sacrificed one member. DBL trying to save the day for the side of Munster as No Name chasing on to Raisins. The shockwave from Chimera is just massive. And London are finding their openings. The double kill picked up onto Shyvana. D.Va trying to get these cards off, but DBL just getting flattened by the Dragon and Golden God. And London walk away with the team fight victory. Bear Tree didn't even need to teleport in. Was on cooldown, obviously, but just a great team fight for London.
Just huge initiation there coming in from Warden, just getting into the thick of things. The whole team did as well, and able to find the momentum. As soon as they opened with such a strong start to the fight, it just felt desperate for Munster to try and finish that one out, and losing place on the top side to the GP. Now, D.Va does get a tower mid, so that is a consolation prize. But still about 1,500 gold down. He's a little bit concerning. That Ezreal 3-0-2, the Shyvana got a couple of kills on the belt. Does make me worry a bit for this Munster side.
Well, London do have himself a slight gold lead at the moment. The problem is Golden God 3-0. Blue Spirits looking to see if he can get something onto Raisins. Gets the flare in the box down. No Name's coming in to save the day. The Moonlight Vigil will spread. And No Name slides in. Gets himself the insect kick onto Warden. But Warden turns it onto Jeppe. Blue Spirits gets Dragon Rage back. They find themselves the shutdown onto No Name. But Golden God with the true shot barrage snipes him for the double kill. London once again with a massive fight.
And Rabstar is just hyping Golden God up, and he is delivering this game. Looking like he might be coming for that #1 spot. Huge on this Ezreal, and it's Munster looking for that situation, thinking they can take the fight. And Warden surviving just a little bit too long, and then Golden God beautiful with the cleanup. Now 5-0-3 on the Ezreal, and things are looking dire for Munster.
London might be a little bit lower in the standings, but they are not letting that reflect here. Golden God able to shift away before the gold card comes out from D.Va. And he is still worth a juicy sum of money right now. Big shutdown onto him. And I mean, it's the Manamune and the Sheen versus a pickaxe and a BF sword onto Blue Spirits.
Yeah, it's a pretty big discrepancy. And I don't think Golden God's reset yet, so... I mean, can we have a look at the gold that Golden God has? Yeah.
Oh.
That's a whole nother component.
Oh.
for the Triforce.
I mean, the gold lead is literally on Golden God, not Blue Spirit. Like, you can see that's where the gold difference between the teams is. It is purely AD carry difference right now.
We can see a big difference mid, though. Like, that's the thing. As much as there's a 2,000 gold difference between AD carries, there's differences in roles. Like, Bear Tree substantially ahead, as is Warden. But D.Va, really the driving force for the team, the one with the substantial, the only one on his team with the lead. Looking to be that carry for them.
You can actually see gold graph on your screens right now. Little up and down, but currently comfortably in the favor of London. As Blue Spirits,
Goodbye.
he goes splat. Jeppe might be up next. There's no name, does slide in to save the day. The Dragon's Breath hits no one, and even with these early dragons, it's just feeling a little dire now for Munster. Just constantly, Blue Spirits is getting caught out.
Yeah, he's struggling, and London are really challenging him, looking to find the picks on the Aphelios. And we talked a little bit about the Aphelios being with the Nautilus, how there's just a preference for Jeppe. I felt like maybe something safer would have been optimal. They opted into allowing Jeppe to go free and apply pressure, but they've been punished in the bot lane. 7 deaths between them. Not the best performance so far for these two.
Bear Tree gets a nice, pretty juicy little barrel chain off there onto the DBL. Our observer loves following those kind of skill shots.
Yep. Loves following the globals. Even when it's not going to hit anyone, it's just entertaining.
All right, well, that's the Triforce and the Manamine onto Golden God, as he just went for the reset. Blue Spirits, still 425 gold off his Infinity Edge. Should be picking it up on this base he's taking now. But an entire item down on Golden God. And that means it feels like Munster probably just don't want to contest this next Baron. Dragon, sorry.
It's risky, though, because, I mean, that's one of the big win conditions when you're an early pressure team is find those dragons, look for the soul. But I agree. I think it's risky to go for it. I think they're so weak now in comparison. You have Infinity Edge Blue Spirits against Triforce Manamune on Golden God. It's just not going to go well.
Has D.Va Destinied at all this game? I
No.
genuinely don't think he's Destinied at all. Which is kind of, you know, you pick this TF to be able to get these roams down, and obviously part of that can come down to the fact that Golden God just took over the lane, and it was almost impossible just to Destiny in.
It wasn't Golden God who took over the lane, though. It's the team. The team looked to pressure, and they allowed him to do so, but Munster should have reacted now. They're looking for a fight here. There's the Destiny.
There's the Destiny. Bear Tree gets flash gold carded, and No Name slides in to secure the kill. Trade a Dragon for a top laner kill there.
Yeah, and potentially mid-tower. I'm not feeling confident about this trade. I think Munster got scammed here.
They want their money back, but the teleports are coming in. This is the fight. DBL onto the flank, and looks like Munster, it's go time. They got another teleport coming out. They used the ultimate onto Warden to get the bop up, but Blue Spirit's already chunked out, and now the hook lands onto DBL. Another hook comes out as D.Va looking for that gold card, but he's separated from the team. Golden God's just looking to mop up. No Name's taking so much damage from Golden God as he's just cutting for everyone. Gets gold carded, gets hooked, gets slammed down, as here comes the fight as the cannon barrage is on. Warden's going to get chunked out. Warden is so close to death, but he's able to survive.
Goodbye,
And Jeppe is on the run. Can he find Warden at the least here? He has the hook. He's going to miss it. Warden can just go for the Dragon's Breath, but he can't find it. Oh, no. Jeppe, when they ignite, trades out and dies. It's a comedy of errors.
That was a scrappy fight. I mean, you could see Munster wanted the engage. They were hunting for it. But a great true shot barrage and the Dragon's Breath from Warden just instantly stopped that in its tracks. You could see Blue Spirits and Jeppe just got so heavily chunked out. And it looked like at that point Munster were doomed, but they still had the fight in them. Golden God overreaches. They try and turn it around. And as much as, you know, as many casualties on both sides, it was honestly favorable for Munster, I'll say, because they need to be trading in these situations when they're behind. They need to be getting something, and they did get the shutdown from Golden God.
Yeah,
so
and I believe it was DBL
factor.
who picked it up as well on the set. So it wasn't like it was put onto someone who's not going to use that gold
Yeah,
effectively.
because Jeffy did get a shutdown on Warden for 450, but that obviously isn't worth as much on him.
Hey, it's a stone plate now.
I'll reiterate, not worth as much on him.
I'm still not worth.
Especially, I mean, it's just the item difference between AD carries is pretty difficult now. And actually, Chimera able to pick up a lot in that fight. Now has the Seraphs and nearly has the Rabadon. Still down on D.Va, but you got to factor in that Twisted Fate does get extra gold whenever he CS's. So the way I'd like to view it is that's part of his kit, you know? So part of TF's built-in kit, part of his power budget is that he gets extra gold. So when you see him with a lead, it's not as relevant.
Oh, well, DBL has to flash away.
Ow.
Ow. Oh, Wizard Shyvana.
It hurts to see.
You cruel mistress, you. Looks like No Name's looking for another play on to Bear Tree. They're just playing on the opposite side. Is No Name does have the kick, lands it, goes for that insect.
Oh.
You gotta press your flash button, Chief.
I think he was going for the ward hop. Also, that would work too. There's the power gameplay. You just throw down the ultimate, negate the pressure, and allows your team to keep looking for this. DBL, there's no counterplay.
Chimera's just gonna find this kill. So easy. Nice and easy pick up there for Chimera. True shot isn't gonna hit who he was aiming for. He was aiming for Blue Spirits. Is this gonna interrupt D.Va? No, D.Va's okay. Actually, it did interrupt him technically, but I mean, I just had a brain fart. Let's be real.
D.Va has Destiny. They're gonna look for this now. They're gonna try and flank with the TF and go
Oh,
for
No
this
Name
fight.
saved the flash this time, so he can actually insect. Oh no, he doesn't have it. It's on cooldown. Okay, don't worry.
You're looking for the opportunities, but they're just not there, Jake. Yeah, D.Va gave up as well because Blue Spirits was chunked and DBL was dead.
I was theory crafting.
Looking pretty
Coming up
rough.
with ideas.
And we praise Munster. We're like, this team is looking on form, looking solid. And I think this is kind of the London we're expecting from day one. This is the duality of London Esports where who knows? Are they the best team in the league? Are they middle of the pack? I don't even think they know right now, but they are looking good in this game.
Yeah, they are. I'm just going to say, because I did my power rankings, some people found it a little bit more controversial than others. I did put Munster at the top, and I put London quite far down. But also coming into today, I actually predicted London to win this game and Munster to lose it.
So what you're trying to say is
I'm so torn on who I want to win right now.
What you're trying to say is that you have no credibility.
No matter what, I'm right and wrong. No matter what happens here.
What you're trying to say is you have no credibility.
You didn't do any power rankings, buddy.
Yeah, and if I did, I would have put Munster at the top because so far they've shown to be a better team than London, except in this game.
Yeah, well, exactly. So actually, I'm just so big brain. I knew London is the Achilles heels of Munster as Blue Spirits. Oh, that's the flash, but
yeah, it nearly became a spirit there, but does manage to get out. I mean, this is what I was talking about before the game. There's that possibility. Oh.
And the kick. Goes for the insect. This time gets the flash off Chimera. Goes for the sombrero, though. Almost gets the kill onto No Name. And in comes the Dragon Chimera with the outplay. DBL going to take a lot of damage from Golden God. Gets the slam off, but Raisins just whips him for the kill.
Swing and a miss.
D.Va?
In the end.
This would have to be the most incredible wild card from D.Va. Using the Destiny. He's got the spot on.
Oh! Why did he
close.
just Destiny out? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, you started recall, and I'm like, what are you doing? Just Destiny out. But it was a nice attempt.
That was close.
Obviously not enough.
However, now London have got this Baron buff. They're 7,000 gold up.
It's a lot.
That is a lot.
If I had to put a number on it, I'd probably say
7,000.
7,000.
Yeah. An entire item up on Golden God, damn it. An entire item up on Golden God over Blue Spirits right now. Blue Spirits has got his Hurricane Infinity Edge.
He's gone a Bloodthirster, controversial.
Ooh. That is like the instant power spike. Like, he just wants to snowball. As much AD as
it's
possible.
more AD.
Yeah,
And the shield's nice.
Watch Blue Spirit's health. Have to land those abilities to actually get the kill. Like a dog with a tennis ball. Our observer chases after the true shot. Oh, Warden gets gold carded, gets the Dragon's Breath off, the wild cards.
Oh,
Warden's outie! Oh,
I would be mad there.
hate to see it.
Shit, Warden doesn't, but a nice attempt at a pick, honestly, and it would have been good if he died, but he didn't. So
those 3 dragons,
unlucky.
the extra.
Yeah, true. If they'd gotten another dragon, he would have died.
Yeah. Chimera's worth a lot of gold. 504 on this Oriana. Got the Ceres and the Death Cap. This is going to be pretty meaty. Quite hard to actually cut through this Oriana at this point. And Jeppe takes a hook. They've got the teleport coming in. And it looks like Munster, they're just willing to fight right now. Raisins flashes away, gets a blue card out from Diva. But Raisins is going to survive as he dodges away on the Moonlight Vigil. Meanwhile, over on the top side of the fight, a double kill's got picked up. And Blue Spirits just run it down. As London are just going to let her close this out. They got themselves the ace. They've got the base. They've got the Baron buff. They've got the minions to work with. 2 inhibitors will surely crumble. And I just don't think Munster have the firepower to hold out in this game anymore. This should just be London getting their 2nd win over Munster. 25 minutes on the clock. It was pretty clean and it was pretty simple. London with a very, very spicy champ select and a very spicy draft. Almost get a one-shot off onto Jeppe as the ace comes in from Golden God. Just pad in those stats. Shockwave onto No Name. They're just farming them on the fountain. 26 minutes on the clock hereabouts, and Munster will crumble to London.
Putting the fear of London into us again. Coming into the split, we've said it so many times, you'll be sick of hearing it. We looked at this team, we said these guys are going to be great. And they were, occasionally. But when it matters, in this game against Munster, against the #1 team with a 4-win streak, they beat them. They managed to take them down, and in a convincing manner. So, yeah, I'm a believer again. Well played, London. Deserved. And I think Warden, we did highlight that sometimes they live or die by him, but he had a good game here. And he was a convincing player on the Shyvana. So, it doesn't disprove that theory, but at least shows he's still able to bring out these huge games, especially in important matches like this.
And for me, it's like, you know, London have been a bit coin flippy throughout the season. That's completely fair to say. But, you know, for Munster, they showed consistency, and this was not the consistency. This was not the kind of clean play we get out from Munster. So I'm a little, it shows a bit of concern, and maybe London just are the kind of, you know, they do seem to have Munster's number, but for Munster, they need to bounce back because that is a 4-game win streak broken to London. So just good showing, really.
I'm going to say, though, this is fine for Munster. Ultimately, they were on a big win streak, sure. They were looking good, but we know the team is not infallible. They were still making some mistakes in those wins. And this is an opportunity for those to really be exposed and for them to go away and go, okay, what do we need to do to improve? Because ultimately, I think they just kept winning towards playoffs. There's no guarantee they do well in playoffs. And I think it's nice to always have a sort of a grounding effect, a team that challenges you and makes you think, okay, this is where we struggle. This is where we're vulnerable. So I don't think Munster should look at this as like, oh no, we lost our winning streak. Oh no, we can't beat London. They should say, okay, this is where we go from here. And I'm sure with the mentality that the staff has had with the organization and also from the players that we've seen coming on the show, I'm sure they'll have that outlook. But I think London, this is definitely a step in the right direction. Definitely a way of them putting their foot down and say, no, we are still in contention for the top of the league.
Step in the right direction, but they still have a mile to walk until they can actually close it out in first place. So with that, we're going to cut to a break. And when we're back, we'll have a little interview. So we will see you after this break. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the UKLC, where we have an interview with Lorx, the coach for the side of London. Got there in the end. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm great, thanks. Happy to end the week with a win. We had a pretty long night after yesterday's game, so just really happy to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you guys had slipped a little bit in the power rankings. Now you've been able to kind of drag Munster down from the kind of front runners, and we are starting to finally get a bit of a spread. But there are a lot of teams locked at the top, and everyone kind of predicted you guys to be at there. So how does it feel to kind of finally start to claw your way back towards that top spot? And I know it's only 1 point between, but it feels so close but so far at the same time. So it's kind of crazy, really, isn't it? The standings.
Yeah, we certainly didn't expect it to go down like this. I think the issues we've had in our losses are quite easy to fix. We've tunneled too hard in certain things in draft, and to be honest, we've made the game much harder to play for ourselves than we need to. And I think if we just have a more standard draft, we can beat any team in this league.
So outside of draft, has there been any changes for you guys as a team that you've tried to implement to sort of overcome this barrier?
We haven't done too much differently this week. We've added in a few small things, but we're going for bigger and more drastic changes this week. So we're going to be upping our workload quite a bit. But I think right now we're just trying to get better at using our mid priority to get deep vision, to set up picks, because we think our fundamentals are quite good, but we're making quite unforgiving mistakes at the moment.
So, obviously, let's just take a bit of a step back and look back into this last game. Versus Munster. Obviously, Munster are a team who had a big win spree. They are one of the strongest teams in the league, but you've now beaten them twice. What is it about Munster that you seem to just have down? It seems like you have their number. Why do you feel that you guys seem to just kind of dispatch Munster with so much ease where other teams struggle?
I don't really know why we fare so well against them. Obviously, there is a pretty ginormous experience gap between some of the players. Like No Name, Blue Spirits, DBL, they're all quite new. So maybe they're lacking in experience. Or maybe it's just we show up and we do an okay draft on the day. I don't know. I'm a bit of a counter to them. Even in a UKO last split, I beat them every time, and I want to keep that streak going against them.
I like that. Well, thank you very much for joining us here for this interview, mate, and congratulations on your win, and good luck with the rest of the second stage of the round robin. Now, guys, we are going to be rounding it out with one more game here at the UKLC. It is going to be Envision versus Demise. You don't want to miss this one, so we'll see you for game 4 after this break.